Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my VPN quiz yet again. You may have seen me talk about this here on my channel, but today I wanted to make a video showing you which VPN I get. Now when choosing a VPN, of course, there's always an element of your own personal desires. What do you want from a VPN? Certainly VPNs are different across the board in terms of how objectively good they are, how fast of speeds you can get, if they're open source or not, if they've ever leaked logs or given away information, and how well they work with streaming, of course. Not to mention other things like affordability, how good the application is, the list goes on, which is why we've made the tier list. That said, like I said, you can find variability in person to person based on what they want, and that's why the VPN quiz is designed to give you the one that's perfect for you. In this video, I'm going to be taking it myself to show you what I prefer in a VPN and personally which VPN I think is the best for me. Anyways guys, let's take the quiz. If you guys want to take the quiz, find it in the description and link below, vpntierlist.com/vpn-quiz. Let's check it out. So guys, first up, for my budget, is it something I want to spend $5 a month or $30 a year, $10 a month or $60 a year, or money is not an issue? For me personally, I'm looking to stay more on a budget for subscription items. I don't want to pay a ton of money since I already pay for a lot of streaming services to test on the channel with every VPN and a lot of other things. I also don't want to pay a ton of money for a VPN because I think generally you can get a pretty good VPN for a decent price, especially with my knowledge, so I'm going to pick the first one. Next up, I'm going to be talking about a no-log audit. Yes, I could trust a VPN if there's been no third-party audit. I don't mind a VPN not using third-party audits as long as there's no history of leaks. Now for this one specifically, I'm probably going to push this one. I think more and more VPNs nowadays are getting audits. More and more VPNs should have audits. And generally, if I was finding a new VPN and on the internet, if it didn't have an audit, but there wasn't any leaks, it could just be a newer VPN. That said, if you found a VPN that's been around for like 10 or more years, like TorGuard, and there's been no leaks, it becomes less of an issue. But in general purposes, I'm going to pick this one. I'd rather have an audit if it's an option, so I'm always going to pick that one. Do I want my VPN to be open source? Now with this one, I'm kind of in the middle. I do prefer open source, but I still could use a VPN and find it trustworthy even if it isn't, if it has a good track record. At the end of the day, it's always about the track record. How long has your VPN been around? How many incidences have there been of giving away data? Even some VPNs that are open source can have given away some form of metadata in the past, and that's why you never really want to commit any crimes on a VPN. But in general, I do like open source and do support it here on the channel. I'm trying to support it even more going forward, and hopefully more VPNs do support open source. Looking here, we can look at streaming services. Now, this is an important part of the tier list that I think a lot of people do care about. Depending on where you are in the world, it can vary. Are you somewhere where you want to watch American content on Netflix? Are you looking to be in America, but you want to watch Japanese content? So this one is important for a lot of people. For me personally, not very important. I don't use VPNs that much to unblock other areas of Netflix and stuff like that, even though I do test it here on the channel for you guys. But for me personally, I'm pretty content to watch stuff on Apple TV, the US version of Netflix, and some other stuff like that, so it's not a huge issue for me. Next up, we could talk about privacy backend stuff. I don't really want a VPN that has background trackers on its website. I don't think it's a good look. I think a VPN's website should be clean as possible, clean as a whistle. So there shouldn't be anything on the website that you should be tracked with. I think a VPN that has Google Analytics trackers on the websites, cookies and things like that are most likely just using it to make more money with their business offering, which is fine at the end of the day for them, but as a customer, you should hold them to the highest standard. And if a VPN has things like anti-tracker, anti-malware, on their VPN offering, and they have trackers on their website, it's just not a good look in my opinion, so I'm going to go with that one. Do I want port forwarding? Port forwarding can optimize torrents. It can make them a little bit faster, depending on your unique use case. For me personally, I'm not downloading tons of torrents lately, so I don't really care too much about this, but I do think it's a good feature most people who are looking to torrent with stuff really do want. For me, I've never really had too many issues with speeds. I have such fast internet already. I don't need to optimize it to that nth degree, and I'm just kind of fine with downloading at the speeds I get. But for power users, they do definitely like port forwarding, which is one reason I rate it as a specification here on the channel. Next up, we could talk about the browser extensions. Do I need browser extensions? It used to be pretty handy when I had a Chromebook. I don't really use that Chromebook anymore. It's worth like 50 bucks. Tried to sell it on eBay, couldn't even sell it. And now I think I'd give it away on Craigslist for free at this point, just because I don't want to use a Google operating system. But for me personally, I don't have really too much use for browser extensions, but again, it's something I test to make sure it works for you guys. So personally, I'm going to put no. For customer support, I do really like customer support that responds quickly. So I am going to pick the tickets responsive within 1 hour. That's my preferred thing. Now with this one, mesh routing, it's something offered by something like NordVPN. TorGuard's private router does have some kind of way to do it, WireGuard and their servers that are self-hosted, which is cool. But for me personally, this isn't something I'm going to be using that often. I don't do too much traveling, usually at home most of the time working. So personally for me, it's not something I need to use that often, but for a lot of people, they can find really good use cases for it. I'm going to put no. Now this one, I'm going to put, how many servers do I need? Am I in a unique country? I want as much service as possible, even city by city, or maybe someone who's in a big city like Los Angeles doesn't need as many servers. For me personally, I'm going to put the middle one. I don't live in a big city, but I do want a good city by city basis in the United States since that's where I'm located. So I'm going to pick this one. Now we did get TorGuard VPN, and I hope that makes sense with the answers I've selected. The quiz gives you iterations of points based on the answers you pick. Now, does TorGuard have a third-party audit? No, but from the other answers selected, this is the closest match. It's within the budget. It doesn't really support stream compatibility that well in its core model, but within that budget, it fits the price that I'm looking for, and it's an excellent VPN. It should be no surprise then that in some ways the tier list is reflected from some of my personal bias. Obviously, I like TorGuard a lot, and it's definitely high rated on the tier list. However, that said, as you saw from the quiz, I did pick some other options, that were part of the system. Take, for example, stuff like stream compatibility, port forwarding, mesh routing, stuff like that. Features that are important to other people are part of the rating system that aren't really that important to me personally. So that is why the system is as objective as possible. Obviously, no system is perfect. No system has no bias. But with all those features that I didn't select, it did give me TorGuard. But if you did want some of those other features, take the quiz yourself and tell me what you got in the comments down below. If you click on the link right here, guys, after finishing the quiz, it'll help support the channel. It's an affiliate link. I appreciate the support ahead of time for doing this work and helping you guys find the right VPN. I'll see you again very soon.